Hello everybody, I hope you're having a really good interfaith week. My name's Kim and I'm the Earth-based chaplain at Strathclyde University Chaplaincy. I'm actually based on the Isle of Skye and you can see me in my wee shed here, which I actually call the sanctuary, just to be a bit more poetic. I'm going to share a story with you for Interfaith Week, which I've got before me here, so you'll have to excuse me referring to the written page here. It's one of my favourite stories, and it's a story that I've really long had a real connection with. It really speaks to me, and I hope it speaks to you too. This is quite a shortened version of it, and I'll explain why I'm using this version in a minute. There were once Selkies, according to Scottish folklore, who for the most part swam as seals in the ocean. Just like true seals, they were entirely at one with the water, able to remain submerged for considerable lengths of time between breaths, able to hunt and dive down deep into the cool darkness. They had smooth coats and called out in the eerie, wistful call that wild creatures share, for they were wild and belonged at sea. On certain still evenings, the Selkies would shuffle up onto the shore and there shed their soft sealskins. While true seals are cumbersome on land, a Selkie without its skin had the form of a graceful and strong-limbed human. Being wild, they danced as naked and as innocently unashamed as Adam and Eve before they tasted that forbidden fruit. Now, tradition has it that a Selkie could be captured and domesticated simply by taking possession of the sealskin. Thus it happened that young Selkies were often, but not always women, were trapped and tricked into leaving the sea for a life on land. They would live a quiet life, even bearing human children. But at the depths of their soul there was a deep hunger, a yearning that no human love could satisfy, a longing to be back in the sea. Compassionate souls might eventually realise the cause of the creature's sadness and restore the sealskin. Several stories tell of the children themselves setting their mothers free. But there are more disturbing tales of people who destroyed the sealskin in an attempt to make captivity permanent, but in so doing inadvertently destroyed their stolen Selkie too. The human soul is in some way like a Selkie robbed of its skin. She knows that she belongs somewhere else. She knows there's something more, something huge and wonderful, something that can hold her completely, just as she was held so safe in the little ocean of her mother's womb. We know that there is more to life than meets the eye, and we can never be truly at peace until we too find our true home. The longing of the Selkie is an analogy for the soul's longing to return to the ocean of God. So where can we search for our sealskins? Of course they're well hidden, because the one that took them meant us to stay on dry land. Should we dig in the ground or turn our homes upside down? Maybe. But who is the one who trapped us? How did it happen? Why do we have no memory of it? Perhaps we were babies when we were stolen, or perhaps we are older than we remember. Who are we but Selkies with amnesia? Much ink has been spilt on the perpetual search for some clue to our being, some key to freedom. But all the books in the land cannot answer the soul's deepest question of life's meaning, for they cannot be articulated in written words, and words alone do not unlock the soul. The soul speaks the same language as the creatures, and we have simply to live, or to rephrase, we have to live simply. That's quite a short version of the story of the Selkie, a very traditional story from the Scottish Highlands. And why have I told it to you today? Why am I sharing it with you for Interfaith Week? The reason is, obviously, it's a very Scottish story, and it's also a story based in the landscape and arising hundreds of years ago from those communities that were based and are based in the landscape. It's a great metaphor that's always spoken to me of the search that I feel I'm on for something, for my spiritual path, whatever that might be. And as I say, these stories arose from communities you can imagine living by the sea, seeing the seals, working both in the dark and the light, and living on the land. And as an earth-based practitioner, this is very important to me, and it speaks to me very much. And it's interesting, I think, that you could take that story to any faith community across the world, anywhere, to any community, and they would get it. It would speak to them as it speaks to me, and hopefully as it speaks to you if you're searching for your spiritual path, or just your path in life. That it's a great metaphor for that yearning and longing to find something that's maybe just missing, and we're not quite sure. We can't define it perhaps 100%. And that's where stories come in. They allow us to talk about things that perhaps are not so easy to talk about in straightforward terms. And stories not only bring communities together, because we can share experiences in a way that we can all understand, but they are worldwide, and we can bring communities together through stories as well. And that expresses that commonality that really lies behind all of the spiritual paths of the world, that we're all searching, but our searches really are, they're just very human searches, and we all share them. They're all part of being human. So across faith paths, I think you could take that story anywhere, as I said, and it would speak to everybody. Another reason I'm sharing the story in that version, it's quite a truncated version of the story, is it's been put together by a friend of mine, one of my mentors at Interfaith Seminary, Annie Heppenstall. She is a Christian, but also an earth-based practitioner. And for me, the gorgeous way that she weaves together those two threads of her life is inspirational. And I think within the story itself, if we look at what happens in the story, it's a really good way of allowing us to understand that we can't keep people captive to our beliefs or to our way of life or to our own or spiritual paths. Everyone is different. Everyone will find their way on their own, and each individual and each path is absolutely valid. Once again, I hope you're having a wonderful Interfaith week. I hope that you go and find many versions of the story of the Selkie. Bye. Brightest blessings.